Welcome to today's story, a journey filled with emotions, where secrets slowly unfold and the truth keeps you hooked until the very end. 10 long years had passed since my divorce, a period marked by solitude and the slow passage of days, each one quietly unfolding without the warmth of close connection. At 45, I had grown accustomed to the quiet of my empty home and the evenings that stretched on, laden with a bittersweet mix of memories and regret. On that Tuesday night, as I lay in bed, the fatigue of the day wrapped around me like a heavy, suffocating blanket. The house rested in deep silence, with each familiar creak and murmur of the settling walls offering little comfort. In the quiet of that night, the peaceful solitude was suddenly broken by a soft, hesitant knock at the door. In the quiet of the night, I sat up abruptly, startled by the unexpected sound. An unusual feeling surrounded me this time, an indescribable urgency that made my heart race unexpectedly. Then I heard a gentle voice calling, "Mom," a whisper in the dark, soft and unmistakable. As I rose to my feet, my eyes slowly adjusted to the faint light leading me to the door. As I opened the door, Aiden stood there, a figure outlined in the doorway. Even in his pajamas, it was clear that this outfit now suited a 25-year-old man, a significant departure from the little boy I had once known. His expression was shy and uncertain, stirring a deep sense of protectiveness within me. I beckoned him to come in with a gentle, welcoming nod. He took a moment to reflect before entering the small, familiar room with me. We lay close on the bed, just a thin sliver of space between us, quietly reflecting our closeness and the unspoken distance that time had created. As I settled into tranquility, the soothing warmth of his presence surrounded me, providing a gentle reassurance to my weary soul. I tried to push aside the flood of mixed emotions that surged within me as I witnessed the clear signs of his development and change throughout the years. His delicate, wavering voice broke the silence once more as he softly whispered, "Sometimes it's just too much." In that fragile moment, I reached out and softly rested my hand on his shoulder, a subtle gesture meant to convey my presence, to acknowledge the unspoken pain he carried. He turned to me and offered a warm embrace, one that conveyed not romantic passion but a deep, familial love. His arms wrapped around me in a comforting embrace, and I felt the rhythmic beat of his heart echoing between us. The closeness we shared was profoundly comforting, a bond that resonated with years of memories, shared sorrows, and the enduring relationship that binds a parent to their child. I softly spoke, "I am here. I stay here." But inside me, a storm of emotions brews. My heart raced, ensnared in the depths of our mutual vulnerability, as I wrestled with the chaotic mix of protectiveness, regret, and a deep yearning for connection that churned inside me. As the night deepened, Aiden's quiet strength began to soften the sharp edges of my loneliness. His eyelids fluttered, yielding to the heaviness of exhaustion, and soon he drifted into a peaceful sleep, leaving me alone with my swirling thoughts. As I lay awake, the memory of his gentle embrace lingered, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, a spark of unexpected comfort can emerge. The morning emerged softly, with the delicate glow of dawn filtering through the curtains. He rested next to me, deeply asleep, his face serene in the gentle light of morning. I paused for a moment, drawn in by the transformation of the young man before me, a spirit who had faced the challenges of life, yet still radiated a sense of innocence and hope. With great caution, I rose from the bed, aware of his peaceful sleep, and silently made my way to the kitchen. The cool morning air and the well-known ritual of preparing breakfast offered a brief sense of solace and a chance for reflection. In the quiet of my work, my thoughts raced with inquiries. What meaning did this night genuinely possess? Was the unexpected closeness merely a transient instance of shared comfort, or did it suggest the slow mending of the deep wounds caused by solitude and grief? Answers continued to evade me, but one truth was unmistakable. This was no typical night of solitude. It represented a crucial turning point, a subtle reminder to acknowledge the importance of emotional intimacy and the support of family in a life that had faced considerable solitude. On that quiet morning, I promised to fully embrace the present, to listen to the silent expressions of love, and to cherish the bond that had always been there, even during moments when loneliness seemed all-consuming. As the day unfolded, a renewed sense of determination enveloped me, compelling me to seek healing and reclaim the pieces of myself that had gradually slipped away over time. Aiden's quiet strength and unspoken compassion stood as a touching reminder that, despite years of isolation, unforeseen instances of kindness can still emerge. In that delicate balance of vulnerability and strength, I might embrace a future filled with genuine connections, regardless of how uncertain it may appear. This portrayal encapsulates a unique, thrilling moment, intertwining it into a heartfelt narrative of renewed connections and the gentle power of familial love, free from any explicit language or unintended implications. A gentle unease started to blossom within me as I wrestled with the memories of the night before. As dawn broke quietly, I made my way to the kitchen to gather the necessary ingredients for pancakes, a simple routine meant to ground me in a feeling of normalcy. The soft clinking of cutlery and the calming swirl of mixing ingredients filled the room, yet my thoughts remained adrift, caught in a tide of conflicting emotions. Shortly after, I noticed Aiden quietly emerging from behind the door. His eyes, still heavy with sleep, mirrored a blend of weariness and cautious curiosity. In sorrow, he murmured, his tone soft and measured. I greeted her with a soft smile. "Good morning, sweetheart," determined to welcome the day with calmness, despite the lingering doubts from the night before. As I flipped the pancakes, I caught Aiden's steady gaze. He appeared to examine every motion, his eyes absorbing not just the light of dawn but also the echoes of our shared past and the silent questions that hung in the air between us. A noticeable change in his demeanor was apparent. Usually quiet and reserved, this morning he appeared thoughtful, as if he were gathering the courage to bridge an invisible gap that existed between us. I placed a plate of pancakes in front of him, my voice gentle but carrying a hint of melancholy as I said, "Enjoy." In a fleeting moment, our eyes met, a wordless connection that communicated feelings and ideas that transcended the limits of words. In his gaze, I sensed a mixture of respect and sadness, an unvoiced acknowledgement of the challenges we had both endured. Each glance appeared to hold an unspoken plea for understanding, a desire to connect the ordinary with the remarkable. The warm aroma of pancakes mingled with the soft light of morning, but beneath the comforting presence of these details, a palpable tension hung in the atmosphere. As we gathered around the table, the familiar comfort of our morning was tinged with a noticeable emotional weight that hung in the air. Aiden's gaze drifted often, as if he were searching for something fleeting, perhaps the whispers of a past time or the solace of a bond that had quietly shifted in its depth. At breakfast, the silence between us was not empty, but filled with a subtle exchange of glances and gentle smiles. Each delicate movement, each gentle sigh, captivated me, turning our shared meal into a tender dance of emotions. His gaze possessed a deep intensity, searching for meaning in the ordinary act of making breakfast, a journey that mirrored the quiet turmoil brewing inside me. After breakfast, the house seemed to hold its breath, enveloped in a moment of tranquility. I retreated to the calm of my room, trying to piece together the fragmented emotions that had surfaced so suddenly. The hours stretched on, each moment echoing with the faint memories of that morning. I contemplated the transformation that had taken place within us, how the unyielding passage of time had changed not only our external appearances, but had also reshaped the landscape of our inner beings. As dusk fell and the warm light of the setting sun filtered through the windows, the gentle sounds of the day gave way to a soothing tranquility. Yet now, that solitude brought with it a hint of hopeful promise. Aiden's thoughtful gaze and the unspoken understanding of our feelings lingered in the air like a soft tune, proving that even in moments of solitude, the bonds we create can spark a light in the darkness. Later that night, as I lay back in bed, the silence enveloping me again, I sensed a shift in the atmosphere. As the soft light seeped in, my eyes slowly opened, noticing a gentle motion, a shadow quietly moving across the entrance of my room. Aiden quietly slipped back through the door, which was slightly ajar, his movements almost inaudible. In that tranquil moment, his presence appeared to rise above the shadows of past uncertainties, evolving into a strong confirmation of the deep connection we were beginning to rediscover. In the stillness of the night, with only the soft whispers of the house surrounding me, I realized that our relationship was evolving into something profoundly meaningful, a shared journey toward healing and understanding. Our bond was not defined by physical closeness. Rather, it was the emotional intimacy that developed over time, shaped by shared experiences, grief, and a quiet aspiration that together we might find comfort. In that brief moment, I vowed to treasure the subtle connection between us, to listen closely to the silent murmurs of our spirits, and to allow the gentle moments of our shared lives to guide us through the uncertain roads of our journey. As the night unfolded, imbued with a blend of sorrow and contemplation, it also carried the promise of renewal, a promise that, through our shared vulnerability, we could discover the strength to confront the future with courage and compassion. In the soft glow of that evening and the delicate unfolding of our emotions, I recognized that our bond served as a quiet testament to love and understanding, a beacon that could illuminate even the darkest of nights. In the quiet of the night, my son entered my room, unaware that sleep was intended to embrace us both. Aiden's eyes glimmered in the darkness, a fierce intensity that reflected the spirit of the night. For a brief instant, I attempted to focus my attention. What was I supposed to do? The turmoil inside me grew, resonating with a rising fervor. Aiden's presence in my room at this hour was unusual, yet it reverberated like a faint echo. This occasion, however, was distinct from all previous ones. His gaze, his presence, the way he approached me at all. Aiden moved forward with determination. He moved forward, coming closer, and in the limited light that lingered, the moonlight, I was able to make out his features more distinctly. His eyes, more determined than I had ever seen, possessed a remarkable depth. Inside me, a voice pleaded for resistance, but in that brief instant, Aiden drew closer, his lips brushing against mine. It happened in a flash. Time appeared to freeze, and for a moment, the cosmos whirled around me as I stood completely motionless. My son stood just a step away, and as he pressed a kiss upon my lips, a torrent of feelings washed over me. This was a surprising moment for a mother, one that made my heart race uncontrollably. In a rush, I withdrew, trying to establish some space. "Stop." "No." I breathed, my words vanishing into the air like a momentary whisper. Aiden stepped back, a flicker of disappointment evident in his eyes, yet he stood resolute, tall in the room. "Aiden, this appears to be inaccurate." My voice quivered as I pleaded, "Please don't do this." My head whirled, and my body was drenched in perspiration. The emotions within me were beyond my control. My son came to me in a way that was both frightening and intricate. Still, I found it impossible to overlook the intensity of his gaze, the unwavering focus he placed on me. Yet beneath the surface, I was aware that this was not correct. Wasn't I destined to be a mother for all eternity? The depth of my son's gaze, unlike anything I had experienced, awakened something deep inside me. My heart raced, pounding fiercely as if it might burst, yet I recognized the importance of regaining my calm. Aiden stepped back. He stayed quiet, not uttering a sound, yet the silence deepened in the darkness. Then Aiden approached and once more pressed his lips against mine, his hands gliding from my neck to my waist, then to my hips, despite my internal pleas to halt. I found it impossible to say no. That night, whatever transpired had transpired. I awoke in the morning, attempting to comprehend what had occurred. I found myself alone in the room, with Aiden absent from my side. I inhaled deeply, attempting to regain my composure, and exited the house in silence. My eyes reflected a deep weariness, while my chest felt hollow and empty. My steps felt burdensome, as if I were adrift, battling the turmoil within me. The one thing I was sure of was my need to comprehend what had transpired. I found myself pondering my emotions, Yet with every moment that went by, things appeared increasingly intricate. That night, whatever transpired had transpired. Everything felt like a dream, so tangled were my eyes. My heart raced as I stepped out of the house in silence. I attempted to conceal what had transpired between Aiden and myself. As I grappled with my understanding, I chose to stifle all my feelings, to wipe it clean, yet something within me was fracturing. I found myself in a state of introspection. What caused my feelings of confusion? I felt as though I was adrift in this turmoil. My son was no longer merely a